Here's tonight, boys. We're all back. Swanny, Billy, we're all here. How you guys doing?
Good, man.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet. I like it. That's kind of how this week's been. You know what? Short and sweet. But at the same time, it's been drawn out since December. So it's like, was it really short and sweet or not? You know what I mean?
Brother, there's no football on right now, so all the days are long.
Yeah, this is true. So this week we found out NIL stands for Nico Is Leaving. Boys, this has been a shit show of a week, hasn't it?
And it's not that.
It's not.
It's not.
I guess because I'm a former player and I understand certain things, but this right here is, I call it BS.
Yeah, it is.
No shortage of no short.
No, that's a fact.
Even without football, we find a way to have fun on Vol Twitter. I guess it's been my entire X feed has been just shit about Nico, and it's been it's as good as coaching. You remember coaching searches, right? You remember what those were like,
man? Oh yeah.
We needed something to fill that void of a coaching search, and here it is.
We got it, man. And that Cadillac slid right into the doghouse, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, this has been a wild one. So let's just kind of get going here. Basically, how it started. Nico signed in the 2023 class, signed the NIL in 2022, came in with a ton of accolades, sat behind Joe in the 23 season, lots of clamor for him. I'm going to say this. I'm going to get it out of the way early, and I'm going to say it again. Swan, this might fire you up, but, that's what we're here for. I have always said I love Joe Milton, and Joe is what you want in a teammate. He may not have always been the best on the football field, but this week I have gained an entirely new appreciation for Joe Milton as a teammate. And honestly, what he did on the field, I mean, think about this. Nico didn't do much better. He really didn't. And we're still sitting here, only thing Nico has is a playoff berth. Would Nico have got that in 2023? Probably not. It's go ahead.
Yeah, it's hard to say. There's all the what ifs, and that's fun or whatever. Yeah, I was always in the camp of you don't play the true freshman quarterback.
This is
just
true.
Because I'm critical of Joe. I was critical of Joe Milton. I was critical about Nico as well.
Yeah, we all were.
But the difference to me was the reason I gave him more grace is because he was younger. He was 19 as opposed to 23.
Sure.
That was my and I still think like we've been fans long enough to know that Nico's going to go somewhere else and ball out.
That's just what it is, man.
I mean, maybe he doesn't, but it just feels like that's the thing that would happen. He goes to play for Lincoln Riley and becomes a Heisman contender.
Hey, you know what? I'll take him at USC. Let him go out there. I guess what I'm getting at with this whole thing is, though, with guys like Joe, guys like Hendon Hooker, we didn't have, of course, Hendon kind of came in on the back end of the NIL, or at the first of the NIL, but sort of the back end of his career with it. We didn't have to worry about, well, somebody going to come offer these guys more money and he's going to go. We knew even if they did come and say, hey, here's a little bit more coin, more than likely they're staying here. They liked it here. They like their teammates. They love their teammates. They had the respect in that locker room. I don't think Nico had that.
Nico had that, man. Here, let me just be honest with you guys. Like just because the kid just did that stuff doesn't mean he didn't have the locker room or didn't have the respect of his teammates. You got to think about what, the quarterback said, Thursday night. They was just eating dinner. Like it was just, everything's going like normal. There was nothing that pointed to say that they didn't like Nico or Nico didn't get along with anybody.
Sure.
He is a loner, but that's what all of these kids are now. There's not a clique or anything like that anymore because guess what? They all can afford their own bills now.
That's true.
They don't have to, put in $350 to each to afford rent now.
Sure.
I like that anymore. I understand the whole situation of everything. It's just, I wish everybody understood what NIL. Thank you. I'm on the TV. Get out. Go.
She's just fine.
I just wish NIL would explain what NIL really is. So the world thinks that every kid on that team is NIL. When I say that, I mean NIL, what everybody thinks is everybody can pay millions of dollars or this. There's only one kid on every team that's got that deal.
True.
And we just lost that one kid. And guess what? We're getting ready to have another one kid that's going to get
That's
that.
fact.
You know, I just wish they would flip NIL and do it like how we had it when bowl games came around. Everybody got the same check. No
I
one
get on
had
board with that.
1,000. No one had 3,000 all the way across. But I understand how NIL works.
Right.
But I think Nico did what I call the Lane Kiffin syndrome, and I think that's the part that left that's going to leave a bad taste in everybody's mouth. You know, he didn't show up. Coach Kiffin, he left in the middle of the night. You know, Nico drove to Nashville to leave out instead of Knoxville.
You know what he didn't drive to Nashville in, though, is that Bugatti he was asking for.
Yes. That's crazy, man.
It was real. I think it was real.
Like, NIL, everybody keeps saying NIL is killing college football. No, it's not.
No, I'm not in that camp either. Honestly, I love NIL because, you know, Bama, Georgia, Clemson, Ohio State can't get every 5-star.
Right.
You know, NIL is great for college football, college sports in general. You see it in we just watched one of the best college basketball tournaments in recent memory, in my opinion.
Agree with that.
And I think a lot of that has to do with NIL. The thing with it is it's kind of the Wild West right now. There's no regulation. I like NIL. I don't want a future where there are contract negotiations with college players. Because if that's the case, like, you know, Joe Burrow, I don't know why I pulled that name out, but if he's in a contract dispute, he can't just leave and go play for another team. You know,
That's true.
In college, and these athletes can with the transfer portal. That's another thing that needs some type of regulation. The portal.
I'll be honest, it's too late for them to regulate it now. They had 50, 70, 80, 100 years to figure this out. And what I mean by that, I only wanted $300 a month. $300.
That's a lot of Taco Bell, brother.
They looked at me like I was crazy. $300, man. And all I wanted to buy me a new polo or something, or, you know, take my girl out on a date, or get the new something, you know, just the things that I need. I wasn't trying to go buy a car, man. I wasn't trying to impress the world. I wasn't trying to go get, you know, the 20s on my car. I wasn't trying to do that, man. I was, you know, when people was thinking that, you know, we was getting paid and stuff like that. No. We just, and in today's time, it's totally different now.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. It's a different era. Kids, you know, with TikTok and Instagram, and kids want to show off.
It is. I'll say this to both your points. You know, I do think that in a NIL at some point, they can regulate NIL. I think the transfer portal, that's a thing that's long and that's done. It's going to be there whether we want it to be there or not. However, both of those will give and take. And what just got took from us, we can get back within a week. That's the best side of it. You know what I mean?
That is the thing that nobody's really talked about. Well, a few people have mentioned it that I've listened to on the radio. We can't replace a 5-star quarterback, but we can replace the production that he gave us last year. 2,600 yards and 19 touchdowns, and he demanded a raise. Get the fuck out of here. What's that, Billy?
I'm going to tell you how you replace a 5-star quarterback. With the next person that know how to do the job. Like the quarterback coming out of high school, when you get to college, you ain't that.
Exactly.
The problem with everybody in the college world, they think because when a 5-star quarterback is recruited, he's supposed to be playing right away. No. He has to learn the system first. That's why I truly believe every 5-star quarterback, I don't care how good you is, you have to sit out. You got to learn the playbook unless your playbook was exactly the same when you came out of college.
Exactly.
It's not easy. It's not easy. Just, you know, you think about this here. In the last 20, 30 years, name a quarterback that was just successful in college football other than what, Tua?
I mean, there's not many, man. I mean, especially ones that have gone on to go and have successful NFL careers. There's very few, very few.
I was just saying in college alone, freshman.
Are you talking about 5 stars?
Yes.
5-star rated freshman. Johnny Manziel is the last one that comes to mind, but
It's
Yeah,
Tua
Johnny
from Alabama. That's the
And Tua, yeah.
was Tua a true freshman or was he a redshirt?
Yep, he was a true freshman when they put him in.
Yeah, he was a true freshman when he lobbed that pass in overtime, but he just and broke all kinds of dog fans' hearts.
I mean, fuck Bama too, but
so it's just, man, y'all, I don't like, my thing is like, I'm kind of in the camp of, I want to be upset about this, but at the same time, I'm like, well, screw him, let him go, like, I don't think what's being talked about enough by at least most Vol fans is Heupel 110% did the right, said go.
yeah, that's the first time we've seen he's pulled out the wheelbarrow since 2022. I would say.
Yeah.
I applaud I applaud Heupel and the whoever made this decision to not pony up. Yeah, I appreciate it. My thing is, I feel exactly the same. I would feel the same if he stayed or went Nico, and that's pessimistic. I feel no different if he's our quarterback next year or not. Obviously, he's not now, but these were my feelings Thursday and Friday.
Sure.
And that comes from I've not been on here since, like, I've not talked about the bowl game at all, or the Ohio State game, but I went up there and watched it. The talent difference is very noticeable.
Yeah.
And until we close that gap a little, it doesn't matter who our quarterback is, in my humble opinion.
This would be Coach's third year.
Do what?
Coach Hype would be just third or fourth.
Be fifth year this year.
Okay, so this would be
he's got a team full of his guys at this point.
This year would be his seniors.
Yeah.
Okay. So this year this is going to be the year that show the true value of what these coaches are bringing to the table for as evolving players. And then, of course, that would depend on what the seniors are going to be playing like, or who we have as seniors that are coming back.
I would agree with that. I would absolutely agree with that. I think we've got an idea of what we can expect this year out of all of them. I'll say this, and Jordan Moore actually said this to me on the phone yesterday. Nico is not the difference in a 9 or 10 win season this year. He's not. And I agree with that.
I don't. I truly. What I'm saying is, you got to talk about chemistry, man. Team chemistry is a big thing, in sports, man. I mean, and that's a key. That's a missing link, man. I mean, I know that he can be replaced, but you're talking about rhythm. These guys getting used to another quarterback. But I'll say this. I mean, like, I'm gonna go back to what I always said about the quarterbacks. I don't. Like you said, yes, Nico, but I think anybody can play the quarterback position in Heupel's offense.
Yeah.
I truly do. And the reason I say that, and I'm going to continue to say this, if you go back and you look at all of these quarterbacks that has played in this system so far, and you look at what Nico did, and you look at what Joe did, you look at what Henry Hooker did, the mechanics all were the same. The only difference that these guys have now is the fact that the year when Hooker and Milton had the job, they had great receivers. They had dang good receivers. And, we took that for granted and realized how good those guys were until the next year we saw it drop off. And that's where the offense lost all of its swag. We didn't have any receivers that were able to do what those guys did. And, and you go look at Nico compared to with Joe those 2 years. And you look at him and you look on film and watch him. You see the exact same quarterback. You just don't see the bazooka down the field overthrow or anything like that arm. But if you look at everything, the overthrows, or you thrown into the receivers, it was the exact same thing. There's no difference. Like I say, I don't think the quarterback is going to be an issue. We have a whole lot of things we got to fix.
Yeah. It starts with the offensive line, honestly.
O-line, receivers, everything else. Our defense and run game is what got us into the playoffs.
100%.
Yeah, the O-line needs work, the receivers need work, and then we can figure out the quarterback thing.
Yeah.
It's really not. The sky's not falling because Nico left.
That's one thing I was gonna say is you go back 6 years ago, this happens with Coach Cornbread or even Butch. You know, we lose a guy that we perceive as our savior, so to speak. And I'm not putting that on Nico now because I think, like you guys said, we're going to be just fine. There's talent in that quarterback room, and we've got one coming in next year that's going to be just fine. And we'll go find one in the portal that it will either start or be a very serviceable backup. But
I'm trying to find rankings right now, and I'm striking out for the spring portal, the quarterback rankings.
It don't open up until Wednesday, so you may have to wait till then.
Right.
But what I'm getting at is 6 to 8 years ago, this is like if you're a program trying to get back on track and you're having to go up against, you know, Alabama, Georgia, whatever, this is a backbreaker, man, an absolute backbreaker right now. And it kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the portal and NIL. It's an even playing field. We can even that playing field tomorrow. You know, like that's one thing that I will say that I think has helped Tennessee's resurgence has been the NIL and the transfer portal, because we've not missed on many guys coming in from the portal, and the NIL deals help because we've got the money. I've seen an article from a guy in Alabama that's like, Tennessee's too poor to pay a quarterback. No, we're not too poor. We're just not stupid.
Well, and I'm like, you don't pony up for a quarterback who threw 26. Look at the numbers.
Right.
Tell me he deserves a raise. Oh, we didn't pay up. Get out of here.
Right. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I commented on there, and I'm like, man, I really feel bad for you, not because you're stupid, but because you have to live down there. Like, come on, man. Yeah. Like, come on. You know what?
I will say this. I saw Friday or Saturday one. I saw Georgia fans, Bama fans, and Florida fans come to our defense on X.
Yeah. There's a bunch of them on Facebook. Yeah.
There's not been that level of
camaraderie.
Yeah, exactly. Since like 9/11.
Do what, Billy?
I think if he would have just brought his ass to practice and, you know, kept this quiet behind closed doors.
It got worked out.
And made some type of, you know, any increase. I mean, if it was, you know, they bumped it up to 3 or whatever.
Right.
That's the thing. I think they did that on purpose. I think it was more of the part about college football that the world hates individuals. You know, when you single out yourself, and for instance, the day before when, you know, you heard the stuff about his dad talking about, we're not trying to do this, we're not going nowhere, we're not negotiating. And then the next day, that's the part I think is where he burnt his bridges.
Yes.
That's when I told you he's gone.
Yeah. Like that's where this all that was when his dad got on Twitter. Either way you went, that was the point of no return. That was the point of no return, because if you say you're not doing it, then you're staying. If you say you're not doing it and it comes out that you have been, you're gone. There's no questions asked. And that, I think that's where the problem is. So I don't even think Nico really wanted to leave. I think it was he's getting bad advice, and it's between his agent and his dad. I read something tonight that said the agent basically went rogue and was shopping him. Nico didn't know anything about it. And the way that like the Polynesian heritage is, you do what your daddy tells you, no matter the age. And he said, okay, I don't want you there. You're gone. Come back home.
I'm sorry, man. If my dad would have told me something like that, we got to talk about this for first pops, because, you know, I got to be comfortable with the people I'm playing with, man. I'm not trying to go out here and meet new people and stuff, man.
Right.
And it has to be more to it, man. Nico knew more about this than what everybody's giving him credit for, man.
I would absolutely agree with that.
You know, he's just going to just be like, okay, I'm like, no. If you know there's a chance you can get $4 million, you know, you already knew what was happening. I mean, you already knew that somebody else already said they're going to pay you.
Absolutely. It will not in the least bit surprise me Wednesday when it opens up that we don't already know where he's at by the end of the day Wednesday. You can't sit here and tell me if Papa Iamaleava is out here calling USC, UCLA, Texas, you know, Texas Tech, you know, they tried to leverage Miami back in December. Somebody's paying that man, but paying that kid. And somebody's up
or this wouldn't have happened.
No, absolutely not.
I've seen so many people say, well, nobody's going to pay him $4 million.
Nobody will.
If somebody's made the offer, or he wouldn't have been in contract negotiations with us. Somebody's offered it.
Somebody that all they're missing is an elite quarterback, or what they perceive as an elite quarterback to make that national championship push, has said, hey, man, listen, once you dump that orange and come on over here, we're one piece away and you're that missing piece. And he's been like, somebody in that camp has been like, shit, come on, man. That's there. There's definitely a lot more to it than what we know and what we'll probably ever know. It's just, it blows my mind though. Like, there's people say, well, what if his dad didn't know? His dad knew. His dad knew exactly what was going on. They're saying, what if Nico didn't know? Nico knew. Nico skipped workouts, skipped practices all spring. That boy knew what he was doing.
And then his dad gets on Twitter and trashes the reporter who reported on it. And us, the fans.
Yeah.
Another thing is, like, somebody told me this the other day, that this is, somebody tried to tell me that this is our fault. This is the fans' fault because of how we talk shit on Twitter when this player underperforms, this guy. And it's like, they're like, their family can see that. And it's like, good. I hope they do. Don't run out of bounds when there's one play left, and we won't trash your guy. Okay.
Right. There's a difference in, and I know sometimes I'll give them down the road watching it, but there's a difference in constructive criticism and then just downright personal attacks on a player. I will absolutely criticize the living the hell out of some of these kids sometimes, but I'm not going to sit here and be like, that kid's worthless. That's not what some of all Twitter does that. Not all of them. All Twitter's not one you want to get on the bad side of.
No.
And
the scum in every fan base, those people are just
absolutely. Let me ask you this though. The one that was saying this to you, who are they a fan of?
Tennessee.
Really?
I don't associate with the fans of other teams. I don't have a friend that roots for anybody else.
What site is it? You say it's Vol Twitter?
This is Vol Twitter, buddy. You type in hashtag Vol Twitter on X.
The website formerly known as X, or formerly known as Twitter.
Hashtag Vol Twitter on X, buddy. You'll get enlightened. It's serious.
I would just search the word Nico and see what pops up.
I guarantee you, it's going to be two teams, one kid. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I want to watch that.
No. Moving on.
But this is wild though. Yeah. It's just wild though, because after he goes to Ohio State and gets his shit leaned, the whole team did. Of course, and I'm not blaming him on that. That's football's a team game.
He was honestly the
Ranger.
One bright spot.
Was
if you could find one in that Ohio State game.
As the season went on, he got better, but his numbers didn't show it. Just his decision making, things like that got better.
We know this, Billy. This is not lost on us. It's the fact that you put those numbers up and demand more money.
It was good. He just didn't have the other part. I don't care if his ass is gone. I don't even really care to talk about the mob, but we got to. I feel like I'm defending Joe Milton again.
Hey, man, I'll tell you what. I've said it before. You're going to get me on the Joe train again. I've said it before. I'll say it again. He's a stand-up kid. He was a hell of a football player.
I saw one season of Hendon Hooker with Josh Heupel, and now that's my expectation.
Hey, here's the thing, though. I'll say this. Hendo Cinco was the exception to the rule as far as what I think we can get out of a quarterback right now.
I mean, maybe we can find another Hendo in the portal.
Hey,
I don't have a doubt that Jake Merklinger can throw for 2,600 yards and 19 touchdowns. I can't get over the stats. I can't get over Nico's numbers. I can't. I'm so hung up on 2,619 and demanding $1.5 million.
Thing he had 19 touchdown passes on the season, boys.
11 of them came against UTEP, Chattanooga, and Vanderbilt.
Huh? He had 9 in SEC play. 4 of them came against Vanderbilt.
He had 19 touchdown passes. 11 of them came in those 3 games. We played 13 games. So in 10 games, he threw 8 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's like little. That's true. And I'll eat crow on this. I'll say it. We talked about it.
Just throwing the ball. It was a very balanced attack team.
Well, we talked about it during the preseason last year, man. this offense is run first, and that's what we did. We ran first to set up those deep balls and to get what we got passing. I mean, that's the way this offense goes. That's how he goes. That's how it was at UCF with him, and that's just how this offense is built. But man, I think the numbers is what's hanging everybody up on this about him asking for more money and being like, because I know to an extent it was for me too, being like, okay, 19-4, yeah, that's a good ratio, but 2,600 yards, no. Like, I'm thinking, I will say this though, I think from what I was told, it was basically a, don't transfer, give us time to work this out type deal. And it was, they didn't want to wait. They wanted it now. And I think he would have, I think he'd have taken a good jump this year with, a second year out there actually running the offense and knowing what he was doing, where he was supposed to go. But at the same time, if you're having a problem seeing, because he's been wearing those GoPros in practice and stuff, that's probably, I'd say that's pretty standard. But if you're having a hard time seeing the field and making your reads in year 3 of an offense, what's going on? Like, are you not going to practice? Are you not watching the films or anything like that? Like, it makes you wonder. It's wild, man. This has been, like you said, Swan, this is almost as good as a Tennessee coaching search. And thank God we're not going through that.
I miss them. I'm glad we're not doing it anymore, but I miss those tracking airplanes and what have you.
We could track Nico's airplane.
Bill Belichick's. What's Bill Belichick doing?
Right.
Those were fun. Those were fun. This is peak. This is peak. We've got to consider. There's a few things here. I'm not mad at Nico. Obviously, it's his father and whoever his team is that did all this. I'm not mad at the kid.
Right.
However, whatever team he goes to, which we can speculate on that later, whatever team he goes to is getting hate watched along with Bama and Florida and Georgia and Ohio State now. They've made the list.
Absolutely.
I'm going to watch them to root against them.
Honestly, I never really hated Ohio State until I watched the game, and I see it's not even the fact that they beat us. It's the fact that the guy was ballsy enough to stand on the front row of that damn Erector Set Stadium with an F Dolly Parton shirt on. That's where I draw the line.
I hope he's having the day he deserves today.
I hope his biscuits were cold for his gravy, and he stubbed his damn pinky toe when he got out of bed.
Yeah.
So, all right, boys, I think
wishes they had Dolly Parton.
That's right. So I think we've talked about, what's happened. Also, let's do this real quick too. Shout out Dan Lanning. That was a stand-up move on his part for calling Heupel and being like, hey, yo, dog, your quarterback's out here pimping himself out, and we don't want him. We just figured you ought to know. Like, that's really what kicked this whole shit show off.
I'm going to take the mic real quick. Oregon remains a volunteer ally.
This is true.
Oregon has earned honorary Vol status. If there's such a thing as having a team that you root for that's not Tennessee, Oregon's it. You remember Ducks pulling trucks, right? Yeah. Oregon's on our side, but even though they kicked our ass twice about 10 or 15 years ago. But yeah. And Dooley. Oh, you remember the Dooley game when they played here? That game was actually close until we got a rain delay. And then they kicked our absolute ass after that, after the game started back.
You stuck on the elevator, Billy? Well, that's more entertaining than that game was, it sounds like. Because that was a...
Quick about Oregon.
Yeah, that's one of them. That's one of them.
That is his offer.
I think that's the spot for him.
Guess who?
I don't think it's USC.
Oregon. Yeah.
What are you saying, Billy? What are you getting at, buddy?
Billy's in the...
Over there going with it.
That's true.
USC is interesting because, you've already got the Lane Kiffin thing where he left us to go to USC. Is Nico doing the same thing? And then you got Lincoln Riley, who's produced. Does he have 2 Heisman Trophy winners and then a third that was? Yeah. Baker, Kyler Murray won the Heisman, and Jalen Hurts. He revived Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
After he got benched at Bama. But does Nico beat out Miller Moss for the starting job at USC?
He would.
You think so?
I think so.
Wow. Okay.
Maybe. I mean, you see it too. Believe that. You see last year there was a few times where we went downfield. You seen Nico's arm strength. He's got it. But
the talent's there.
It's all there.
It's
He's got all the
yeah.
pieces. He's got all the pieces. I just think he's getting some bad advice somewhere down the road, somewhere down the line, and it's going to ruin him.
Here's where I can get past the numbers that he put up for us. He wasn't a 5-star for no reason.
Facts.
He's clearly very talented, regardless of those numbers.
So here's my thing.
And so I think he will succeed somewhere.
He will.
No, and that's my hang up, Billy. It's not that I look at numbers and I form my opinion on it. Although I think you can pretty much form an opinion based on numbers. Yeah, $619. That's not $1.5 million.
If they would have competed with Ohio.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know anybody who's not on board with that,
because he showed me something that he didn't show me all season. Anything different in Ohio State didn't show me all season, and that's when I said I already knew Ohio State was going to whoop our ass. I did. My money was there, and I hate betting against my team. Ohio State has too many athletes. They have too many 5-star classes that we're nowhere near there yet, where the talent gap is crazy. That's what my Tennessee fans don't understand when I say that.
100%.
I get it.
5 stars there, but if you don't get the 5 stars in the right places, it's not gonna make quarterbacks ain't gonna win no national championships, man.
And we talked about it.
I know you know this number, Jordan. 30. That's how many more 4 and 5-star players Ohio State had on our roster than we did.
Exactly. Well, okay, so we talked.
I'll tell you what tricked me about that game. I thought I went up there thinking we were going to win because 2 weeks prior, Michigan beat that same team, same field, and I thought we can do that.
Yeah, I think we all did to an extent.
And they took that Michigan game personal. They did to Oregon, who went undefeated and beat them earlier that year. They did to Oregon what they did to us. Ohio State
they were pissed.
That was the best team in college.
You know what's funny is I actually showed this to Billy the other day. That first round recap we did is at 8,000 views right now. Every one of them's Ohio State fans because I can see where they come from. It's coming straight out of Columbus, Ohio. I hope all 8,000 of them come back for this one because we just talked about it too. Again, they whooped our ass. They absolutely whooped our ass.
Out to this really good Mexican restaurant that I ate at before the game. I don't remember the name of it. But yeah, it was good.
I'm sure somebody will let us know. Hey, Ohio State fans, hit the comments. Let us know.
Please, because I don't remember, but it was so good.
But, we mentioned it during that recap, though. You hit the 3-star level. It's pretty even there. But once you get to the 4-star level, that's where you start seeing the difference. And they didn't have very many more 4 stars than we did. Where the difference was the 5 stars. It was 16-4. 16-4. They had 16 5-star kids on that team. Granted, yeah, I know one of them pointed out to me that all 16 of them didn't play. Well, no shit. But when you've got a 4-to-1 ratio, it's gonna show. It's gonna show, plain and simple.
Holy shit! How good is that freshman? Is it Jeremiah Smith?
Dude, he could start in the NFL right now.
It's crazy. Between him and Ryan Williams at Bama, it kind of makes me mad that Mike Matthews didn't really see the field for us. You know what I mean? Like, what are we waiting on?
They are. It's like, fun fact about Ryan Williams, though, he's the first 17-year-old to lose in Neyland Stadium.
Did you know he's 17 years old? He's only 17?
That's crazy, too. He's a phenomenal athlete.
Let me interject. That's going to be my running joke for years about him, is he's only 17 years old. When he's a 10-year NFL vet, I'm going to be like, anytime Ryan Williams comes up, I'm going to say, you're only 17.
He's only 17.
35.
He hit puberty last week. He's only 17. So, all right, fellas, I feel like we've given Nico enough of our time for this one. Let's talk about the fallout of all this, though. If we're going to hit the portal, I got 4 names: Ty Simpson, Avery Johnson, Chandler Morris from North Texas, Josh Hoover. Shout out Jordan Moore again. The man comes through. He's a information giver. Whenever he's got it, he don't care a bit to share it with me. Out of those 4, who do you want?
Who?
Like that one? Yeah, I could go. Okay, so out of the 4, he's the one with the catch, though. He can't transfer here in the portal because of the way the SEC has written the transfer rules. However, he could possibly grad transfer because I'm pretty sure he's got his degree. So we'd have to wait till May to get him. That's the only hold up there. So, and it's really not a hold up because if the kid's that good, he'll come in and he'll pick up the offense, no problem. And I think he'd open up our offense quite a bit. However, I think we like the idea of, especially say we've got a suspect offensive line. We need somebody that can run. Who do you want out of that? And then who do you want out of the 4?
Need all the, that's from what I've watched, the cut up that I've seen. Defense, we're going to be pretty sound this year. The D-line was, I mean, and it's kind of hard to grade our D-line because they were going against our offensive line. Because they made our line look bad, really bad. O-line, we need. I mean, the only kid on the team that I saw that was playing pretty good on O-line was the freshman. Forgetting his name, but
Sanders. Yeah, that was a big get for us last year. That could anchor that line down.
But for me, it's still Todd Simpson.
I think he'd probably.
That's a possibility. I love that. I absolutely want him in orange. With the Nico leaving, it opens the door for for quarterbacks who would have never considered coming to Tennessee.
Sure.
And now it's
it opens.
People are going to look at it like those tacos I had in Ohio. Kind of salivating because it's a open job for now. What? And I like Merklinger. I'm in. Let's ride with Merk. But if Jalen Rashada at Georgia wants to transfer up here, that's fine too.
That's a name I've heard too.
I don't want a quarterback.
I don't think we need one necessarily.
I'm gonna tell you why. Because I truly think we'll have the same situation that we have right now. Right now, the kids that are over there right now, they're gonna play their ass off a coach right now. They're studying right now. You don't have to worry about the transfer with those guys. You're not going to have to worry about them asking for no $4 million. Now, this guy that's transferring in, if you go and seek him, he's going to want 3.5.
Yeah, I could see that.
So
bring a quarterback right now. It needs to be an in.
So address the other parts of the field and let Mark take the job. I could be behind that.
I'll say use the collector to build it now. You got enough to build it.
And you've got young talent there to build around.
And plug to help build what you got right now.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, spread the wealth and fix what's there, fix what needs fixed.
Yeah, there's some O-linemen, baby. Let's go.
Get off linemen. Free wings.
Feed them.
You can eat
unlimited wings.
Feed them some tacos from that restaurant that I'm still waiting on the name for.
I'm sure we'll get it. We'll get it. Because I'm
fishing for it. I want to know. I don't know if I'll ever be in Columbus, Ohio again in my entire life, but if I am,
there you go.
I'll be there.
That's your stop. So, well, boys, we've had a good discussion tonight. It was good to be back on the mic with you fellas. We're gonna get back we're gonna get this thing rolling again for sure because it's getting to be that time. We got baseball. The baseball team's whooping ass. Basketball, it's over and done with. Sucked to go out the way we did, but we did. And then technically it's football season again because spring started.
It's football season.
So, yes, sir. So, boys, let's end this one how we usually end it with the Go Vols, and I'm gonna say F Nico. No, just kidding. I can't do that to him. But
hey, let him go.
That's it. Let it go.
Yeah, that's fine. My Felicia.
But boys, let's give it a Go Vols and call it a night. What do you think?
Call it.
Go Vols.
I can say what the fuck I want to say. His punk ass needs that.
She said it on air.
Yeah, like he wasn't getting paid. You need $4 million for.
I knew it was coming. I had a really good.
Darn.